So this is right around the corner from our house. Kind of give you guys an idea just what it looks like. And right over there between those two ridges is where our house is at. As you can see, there's pretty much nothing in all directions. There's the main highway that you can hear some vehicles on, but it's still a couple miles away. It's just the sound really travels out here. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. If this is your first time tuning in, glad to have you. So, you know, things I've learned living in a different country. It's not always easy living in a different country. There's a lot of things that I learned that I had to get used to. You know, just a lot of things that I wasn't accustomed to living in Central America, coming from the U.S. You know, a lot of things that you have to go without. Things move at different paces. You know, and pretty much anywhere you are in the world today, you can always find good. You can always find bad. You just have to find where your good outweighs the bad, I guess. You know, sometimes when it gets rough here, I have to remind myself exactly why I left the States. And when I remind myself of why I left the States, then all of a sudden things don't really seem that bad. So sometimes it's a constant struggle. Sometimes it's not. You know, one of the things that I had to get used to is that I grew up on the water. And me and my wife, we love the water. We love anything that has to do with water. And when we moved here, we realized pretty quick that it was easier for us to live inland and have the water, you know, anywhere from an hour to 2 hours away, and be able to go do the things that we love on the water without actually having to live on the water. Because in Belize, from what we're used to, it's a different atmosphere of living on the water. So that's one of the things that we had to get used to, because when we originally came to Belize, our plan was to absolutely live on the water. We had to be right on the water, and that's exactly what we wanted, and that's where we wanted to be. But, you know, life is what happens, and life threw us different plans, and we just kind of roll with it. And for the most part, it's, you know, worked out. We still miss not being by the water every day, but there's so many more positives that we get inland rather than living on the water here. So we're really happy that we, you know, took that route. So what I wanted to get into are my 5 reasons, the 5 reasons that I came up with that I fell in love with here, of course, and why I think if you're moving to Belize, these are 5 my top reasons why you should, if you agree with these things. So number 1 is going to be property tax. Property tax in Belize is really low. It's most people don't pay more than 25 American for property tax per year. So property taxes are, you know, extremely low. In the States, on our house, within 2 years, our property taxes went from about $2,500 to about $4,600, which was completely ridiculous. You know, that's one of the reasons why we left the States. We got tired of, you know, every time we turn around and they're building a new subdivision, well, you know, we have to suffer, and, you know, we have to pay more property tax. In Belize, that's one of the great things that you're really not going to have to deal with. Property tax is really low. Number 2, the second thing is going to be the proximity to not only the U.S., but to other countries like Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras. Belize is a great point to be in Central America if you still want to travel around Central and South America, but you don't want to be too far away from home. The States is only a 2-hour plane ride and a 3-day drive, depending on if you only drive during the day. If you drive at night, you know, you can be back in the US within probably a day and a half. So being that close to other countries and being that close to the mainland to where you can actually get back if there's an emergency, or if you want to see your loved ones or something, you know, because if you start to go into South America, or even a little bit further than that, or, you know, Asia and other parts of the country, and you're from Canada or you're from the US, that's a long way to get home. Yeah, that's something that I don't like, being on planes. So I'll take, I prefer to drive, so I'll take a short drive over a, you know, 12 to 24-hour plane ride any day. So my third one, and this is a really, really big one for me, is going to be the population. Belize is about the size of Massachusetts. It is a little bit larger than El Salvador, and it has roughly about 410,000 people living here. So it is possible, if you look around, to be like this, just outside the capital city. So population was a big thing for us, because we like our privacy, we like our quiet. We don't like to see neighbors, we don't like to hear neighbors. We like our little slice of paradise, our solstice, our peace and quiet, however you want to say it. We enjoy having our privacy, and in Belize you will absolutely get privacy. There's going to be areas that you go into, and there's going to be people coming and going, but for the most part, there really isn't a lot of people here, and that has to do with the traffic too. I haven't seen a road rage since I've been here. I haven't seen a traffic jam. You're not going to wait 30 minutes in traffic trying to get anywhere. Most of the main roads that lead from the major cities to the outskirts and stuff are completely empty, even first thing in the morning, because most people take buses to wherever they have to get to. So you're not going to have to deal with traffic or anything like that. Even when you're shopping, you're not going to have to deal with a lot of people, just period. The population is incredibly low. I hope it stays like that for a long time, but you know, we have to wait and see. So yes, if you don't like to be around a lot of people, if you like your peace and quiet, Belize is definitely going to be the place for you. That's going to bring me to number 4, which is going to be outdoor activities. Now, there's plenty of indoor activities, bars, and, you know, things like that. But if you're an outdoor person and you like to be outside and you like to adventure and just get off the beaten path and see things, let me tell you what, Belize is definitely the place for you. There's a lot of spots that are on the tourist dartboard, if you want to call it, but there is so much here in Belize that is not. Just recently went up to a place called Blue Creek up by the Mexican border, and let me tell you what, I was flabbergasted when we were up there. It was like entering a completely different world, and we find this all the time as we're driving around Belize. We will turn a corner, and even the geography looks different, from Mountain Pine Ridge to the rainforest to the water. There is something different to do. I guess if you get bored, if you're an outdoor person and you get bored in Belize, I don't know, maybe you're just not that much outdoorsy, because we have not got tired. And the thing that we love to do the most is we like to get in the vehicle and just go for a drive and just see where it takes us. A lot of times we'll end up on dirt roads because not everything is paved, but even those are adventures. So yes, number 4, outdoor activities. You will not get bored. There is so much to do, so much to do. And once the locals that run a lot of these places that you do get charged to get into, once they get to know you and they realize that you live in Belize, you're not going to have to pay what you would as a tourist anyway. So always keep that in mind. You know, like I've always said, you know, you just have to get to know people. My fifth thing, and this is the thing that I love most about Belize. This is what me and my wife absolutely love about Belize. And a lot of people would say this. When you get to Belize, or when we got to Belize, excuse me, when we got to Belize and we got settled in, Belize is like taking a step back in time. Belize has that old time aura. A lot of the country reminds me of where I grew up in South Florida, how I grew up in South Florida, meaning because where I grew up in South Florida, it was all different colors, all different races. It was just a melting pot of people who had descended where I was in South Florida. And that's what it reminds me of here. There's so many different cultures. There's so many people here that have come from other countries too, because they were wanting to escape what the crime was like in their country, and they wanted to get away and they wanted a better life. So even people from Central and South America have left their country to come to Belize to pursue a better life. And yes, Belize will definitely make you think, especially if you're around my age, if you're a Gen Xer and you remember growing up and kids playing in the streets and things like that. You will absolutely, that's one of the things I love the most, is I feel like I'm back in an old time movie. Watching the kids in uniforms go to school, just watching them play. I mean, kids actually play in the streets here after school how we did when I was growing up. You rarely see kids walking around with holding a cell phone, just sitting there in front of a electronic device all day. These kids are outside, they're on bikes, they're running around, they're making noise, and I remember that growing up. And then all of a sudden it just stopped. You know, in the States, you know, people don't let their kids run around. When I'm telling you that kids are safe in Belize, kids are absolutely safe in Belize, and it is great to see that. And I understand why people with families would want to bring their kids here to Belize despite the current education system, but I believe that the education system is going to get better. But I understand why people that have kids would definitely want to move here to Belize and bring their kids with them, because they're going to experience actually what it is to be a child. I mean, actually what it is to be a kid and run around and have fun. And it's great to see that. It just, like I said, living in Belize is like taking a step back in time. You have to just soak it all up. You absolutely have to soak it all up. And I'm going to throw an extra one in there. The other thing that I really love about Belize is I have seen some of the most spectacular sunsets and sunrises that I've ever seen in my life. And here's one that I took right off of our front deck, and I still look at it often because I just get mesmerized by it. Yeah, watching these sunrises and sunsets up in these mountains from our property is absolutely amazing. So if you like very low property taxes, if you want to be close to Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, the United States, Canada, if you don't want to deal with a lot of people, if you like your seclusion and your isolation, and you don't want to deal with traffic and headaches and all the things that comes with tons and tons of people, If you love outdoors and you love to just get out and explore, a hike and go on rivers and take a paved road that might run into a dirt road, that might run into a clay road, that might run into one of the most spectacular things that you ever experienced in life. And if you want to take a break from the rat race and what's become the normal, and you want to take a step back in time and kind of reminisce on how things used to be, then yeah, Belize is definitely the place for you. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down there in the comments section. I try to get to everybody who asks questions as fast as I can, but appreciate you guys watching. Get out there and start living, man, because that rat race isn't life. You know, even if you don't have tons of money, if you just have a little bit of money, at least take a risk once and just try to experience something new. This has been, for me and my wife, this has been one of the biggest, humbling, greatest experiences that we've ever had in our life so far, and I don't regret it for a minute. I'm blessed and grateful to have experienced everything that Belize has to offer. So thanks for watching, guys. Stay blessed.